people's experience that they have in places is so important, and I don't think a lot of cigar shops or lounges take that into consideration like they should. Dude, we've almost been doing this for a year.
Almost a year. It's been awesome.
We should probably pretty quickly just shout out Wick, and that he's not here.
He's not here.
He completes the trio.
He does complete the trio. It's not the same without him.
Simply not.
He brings a level of sophistication, maturity, business acumen to the table that you and I don't bring.
No, we don't. But we have a lot of fun.
We have a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun today.
We are. I was thinking, I was like, all right, me and BG got to sit down. I mean, preferably with Wick, but Wick, you're enjoying vacation. You do that.
You do you.
We're taking the spotlight from you today.
Yes.
To talk about almost a retrospect on, 10 months of doing Creekside and hospitality, service, something that I know both of us care a lot about and have put a lot of time and attention into the small details we do here.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really interesting to talk about where that came from. Like, especially for you too. Like, you've been to cigar lounges all around the country. You work in an experience-driven, hospitality-centric place at the church. Like, people's experience that they have in places is so important. And I don't think a lot of cigar shops or lounges take that into consideration like they should.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it stemmed from, like you said, working at a church. I've worked at a church here in town, Rivers Crossing Church, since 2008. And everything we do there is driven towards, taking care of people, loving volunteers, and serving people, and just so that has been ingrained in me. It's a part of who I am. It's a value of mine. Whether it's here at a cigar shop, at the church, or at Target checking out. I don't know. I love just making sure people feel cared for. Yeah. Really. And so, very thankful for the time at the church and how that's carried over.
So, like, when we sat down to start talking about building Creekside, to you, like, and I know I have a couple, but I kind of want you to start it with, like, what were some of the initiatives or things that we would do as a lounge from a service standpoint that you were like, hey, non-negotiable, we need to operate this way when people come into our door?
Yeah, no, I think when they come in our door, it's a family atmosphere for me. And I wanted to make sure that people, and by the way, we are open for business right now. So if you see people walking around or talking, that's why. But when people walk in the door, I want them to feel like they're at home, that they can just make themselves at home. Our team is here to serve people. This is not a place where a transaction happens at the cash register and then we're done with you.
Yep.
As long as you are on our property, we are here to serve you and take care of you. So we do things, and you've talked a lot about this, and a lot of this was your heart as well. But bringing out water to people without them even asking. Just bring out chilled water.
Look what appeared.
You got it. It's right there. We have really good coffee here. Shout out to Script Coffee.
Yep.
And so, and aesthetically, this place is it's nice. It's clean. The furniture.
Smoky vac, dude.
Smoky vac. We're going to talk about that.
Okay,
no, we're going to talk about that.
Okay,
that's a whole section.
We're coming back to
That's a whole section. But, the furniture in here is nice. It's high end. I remember when you gave Dave Wick the quote for the furniture. And it's like, oh, we're not getting our furniture from Big Lots.
Yeah.
This is the real deal stuff. So, but I think people appreciate that when they come in.
Yep.
The place just feels nice.
Yeah.
It's bright. It's clean. Smoke evac. Now that was a big one for me because a few years ago I went down to a cigar lounge, Sure Thing Cigars in 30A.
Dude, that is like a bucket list shop for me. I haven't been.
It's incredible. It's it's Luke Bryan's Cigar Lounge down in 30A, and when I walked in there, it was clean. It was bright. It was clean. It wasn't dark and grungy.
Yeah.
And their smoke evac was incredible because my wife is not a fan of cigar smoke at all, and so I remember I went in there one day to do some work in an afternoon, smoked a couple cigars, worked on the computer, came back to where we were staying, and my wife asked me, like, were you at the cigar lounge? Because she couldn't even smell. Now that's hard to do, especially when you have a lot of people smoking, in a room. But it gave us kind of a vision of like, okay, we need to at least try our best to do this in our place to filter and remove smoke. So, and I think we've done pretty well for this space.
And overkill it. Like I remember when we were like, so we have, which part of us building this, we were forced to make it really great because of like the city requirements.
Yes.
Right? Like with the HVAC being hospital grade and the ERV system, it's like this big exhaust. It's pulling air out and bringing fresh air in constantly throughout the day. But then we got those 4 smoke eaters. And like this room is rated for like 1 or 2 of them at most. Like we just cover 2,000 square feet. And we're like, let's do 4.
Yeah.
Let's like absolutely kill this.
Yeah. And
that's like one of the number 1 comments we get.
Yeah.
It's like, it is so clean to sit here and smoke. And we've all been in places where like your eyes literally start to hurt. And there could be 5 people in there and you're just like, this is not fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather freeze outside.
Yes. Yes. Yes to
not
all of
here,
that.
Brother.
Yes to all of that. And on top of that, the EV system that exchanges air, pulls out bad air, brings in good air fairly often. I don't know the exact number, but it's often.
Well, we got a lot of people, that sucker's cranking. Yeah, and
Cranking. Now, you like service too.
I love service.
I mean, this isn't just a BG kind of thing.
I think we all love service, and that's why it is like translated. Me, you, and Wick are like, that is so important. And I think that's like one of the biggest gaps with lounges I've gone. Like I've gone into places where I've got up from my seat and they've reminded me to clear my ashtray myself. And I'm like, like I'm paying lounge MSRP prices for cigars.
Right.
And like, I'm not asking for anything else. I just like put my ash in the ashtray and like assumed somebody would like remove it when I leave.
Yeah.
Because there's nowhere for me to put it. And so that was one of our standard operating procedures early on, is like clean ashtray club.
Yeah.
Like if you're here, you're getting your ashtray refreshed, hopefully multiple times throughout your visit. The water's being brought out. And first and foremost, and one of the things that whether it's a restaurant, a hotel, a cigar lounge, a coffee shop, when you walk in the door, you should be greeted, looked in the eye, and welcomed into the place you are, not felt like, what do I do here? Can I go in there? Do I sit? Like,
yeah, because the reality
is so important.
For sure. The reality is there are a lot of people who come through these doors that have never been to a cigar lounge. They've never been to our cigar lounge. Mm-hmm. During the month of December, we had a lot of females coming in here, which we have a lot of female patrons all the time. But we had a lot of people coming in here just to buy gift cards for their loved ones. And it's like, even those people, like, it's probably very intimidating to get out of your car and come into a cigar lounge, even to buy a gift card.
Because you have no idea what you're doing.
You have no idea. And so it's on our team to make that person feel special, to feel comfortable being in this environment and, and take care of them. So, and I think we did a great job of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say it's probably the number 1 thing we are all always sitting down and commenting on the most, is like beyond the cigar selection in the humidor, beyond sales numbers and goals. It's like, hey, I noticed somebody walked in and you didn't like greet them immediately, or when they sat down, like water wasn't brought out, or that ashtray's full, or like, did you take pride in cleaning the lounge? Because if the place is clean, it's more inviting to be in. And it's like, that's the focus.
Yeah, we're not perfect. You know, we miss it sometimes, but the goal is to keep casting that vision for our team, so that it just gets ingrained in them. And when we're in the lounge as owners, displaying that as well, greeting people, if we see someone go in the humidor and go ask them if they need any help or anything like that. So leading by example, and so
that's so the humidor and interacting with people in the humidor, that was something we went back and forth on a lot. Like, do they follow every person into the humidor?
Right.
Is that too much? Because I've been in places where I'm like, well, this guy, just please leave me alone. I'm going to be in here for 10 minutes just looking. I'm going to pick stuff up. I'm going to put it back. But then sometimes there's people who are like, please help me.
Yes.
What's your opinion on that? On the balance of going in the humidor, staying away, being pushy, being not pushy?
Yeah.
Not helpful, too helpful.
I've been in many humidors before where I can see the employee kind of following me in, and so I know it's coming. And I'm perfectly okay with them coming in and greeting me and asking me if I need any help at all. And then if I tell them I don't, that just needs to be the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Other times I'll kind of play dumb and just see what they, hey, what's selling here? Tell me about something popular that I haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a fine line. There's a balance between overbearing and just, you kind of have to know, like, all right, this person, they don't really need any help, so I'm going to back away. I'm going to leave. Or this person does need help, and I'm going to stay and do what needs to be done. So
do what needs to be done.
Yeah, there's a balance.
It's a balancing act. What, okay, I want to go back pre-Creekside.
Pre-Creekside, okay.
You and Wick were dreaming up this place.
Yeah.
But tell me about how you got to that point. Like, you'd been smoking cigars for how long? And then when were you like, what was missing in Cincinnati for you to be like, I want this to happen. I'm going to help make this happen.
Great question. So me and the other Dave, who's on vacation. The older, wiser.
Yes.
He's on vacation right
sabbatical.
Now. He's on a sabbatical right now. And so all of that is false, actually. But he's not here. That is true. And yeah, he and I have been friends for quite a while. We met at the church that I work at. And we just started smoking cigars. I mean, a lot of it was just on his back porch, watching sports, football games, basketball games, golf. He and I play a lot of golf together, along with some other friends. And so we're always smoking cigars on the golf course. And so this is years and years of just kind of in the making of just kind of hanging out. And then I think he and I both have a little bit of that entrepreneurial drive. And so we always talked about, it'd be so cool to start a cigar lounge one day. There are some lounges in the Cincinnati area, but we were like, it would be really cool to start one like in our community. Yeah. Where our kids go to school and where we go to church and everything like that. And over the years, it started peaking, like our interest started peaking because we'd be at the golf course and we'd finish a round of golf and we'd sit out and have a drink and cigar, and everybody else was too. And we're like, okay, like people love cigars around here. Like it's just kind of a growing thing. Yep. I've even told you, like, I think smoking cigars right now is almost like the craft beer boom many years ago. Yeah. Where it's just like, it's kind of the cool thing to do in a way.
People are interested in it.
They're interested. Young people.
Yep. Yep.
Again, like I said, a lot of women come in here. Older people. It's just, it spans across multiple demographics. But yeah, so we just dreamed about it. And then one day a local cigar lounge went up for sale, and he and I started talking, and we're like, all right, this is the catalyst we needed. Like, let's look into buying it and doing it, and let's just go for it. And then him being in commercial real estate, he got wind of the property that we're in now coming up for sale. And so, long story short,
you being a former banker on Wall Street, that played into it.
Yeah. And I knew that I had all this crypto money just sitting around, just waiting to be used. But no, it's there's a lot of cool details, a lot of God stories in that of how it happened. But we also knew that we couldn't do this without you. And so you and I had met at the church as well. Yep. And just kind of bonded over. I remember the first time you and I hung out on your porch.
Yeah. In Norwood.
I went over thinking we were going to hang out for an hour or so, and I think it was probably 2.5 hours. We just sat there and talked about life, work, cigars, and it was awesome. So you and I connected really well.
You left with a bag of cigars.
I did leave with a bag of cigars.
I was working in cigars at the time, so I had a large vat of them.
Yes. But we knew we couldn't do this without you. He and I, we each, that's what's cool about this 3-person thing is we each bring our strengths to the table, and that's complemented so far each other really well.
Yeah, and I was talking with a friend of mine about this. We were talking about like starting a business and being like a sole business owner versus like in a partnership and the like give and take that has. And I was like, what's really interesting about Creekside is like all of us like run full speed in our lanes, and like we have obviously natural crossover where we have to make collective decisions or like outvote each other, but like we're all so different in personality, in specialty, and what we're really good at, that I think that is what has brought a lot of success here.
Yeah.
That we're each allowed to kind of like go do what we do really well and just be like, guys, this is working, I'm doing this. And like, from a service standpoint, from a financial standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, like we get to just do that.
Yeah.
Which has been, I think, helped make this really successful.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just grateful for you, BG.
I'm grateful for you as well. I'm not grateful that I forgot to bring a lighter over here.
Oh, here.
Because I am trying to enjoy this, brother. This latest Creekside custom cigar.
Quick plug.
Quick plug. Give me a little light there. Let's make this awkward. Yes, we're back.
Time to cue the elevator music, Ramsey.
We're back.
And now we're back. And
we're back and ready to go.
Okay, what's the worst cigar experience you've ever had?
All right, I'm just going to tell you the first one that pops in my mind.
Okay.
Like, this is no filter. It could even be a bad example of what you're asking me, but this is the first thing that popped in my mind. Is I was in college, and I wasn't really smoking many, like, what we would call high-quality cigars.
Okay.
It was more like your budget stuff, your gas station stuff. And I remember I was out in the street with my college friend, and I think we were just throwing the football, but I just was, like, chiefing on this cigar. You know, like when you're like doing something sporty and you're just kind of like...
You're feeling yourself.
You're just going... And I just remember feeling so sick to my stomach. And that's the story. I mean, I don't have a lot of bad experiences. I mean, there's a couple bad environments I've been in that like just don't make cigar smoking fun. Like there's one lounge that's relatively... it's in our area. I'll just put it that way. It's in the Cincinnati area that, you know, you basically have to strip down to like... you know, shorts and a t-shirt, and basically when you walk out you have to throw away those clothes because it's so bad.
You were living in a used ashtray for an hour and a half.
Yes, a grungy used ashtray. Not all places are like that, but there's just one in mind that will go unnamed. But so not a lot of bad experiences, mostly good, which is why I think we're here now today. How about you?
Honestly, the one that stands out the most was the ashtray situation, just because it was so jarring. It was also in a place that didn't have great ventilation, and like it's not like there was this like experience happening, which maybe I should have assumed it was a clear your own ashtray kind of place, but I didn't. But yeah, that's probably the only lounge I've been in where I'm like, I think overall though, I go into cigar lounges all the time, and I feel like service and hospitality is not even, it's not that people are being mean. It's just, I don't even think it's a thought of like engaging with customers in a way or finding little touch points to like serve them and make them more comfortable. I think it's very much transactional. This is what we have. Maybe you get a cigar geek who's working there and you learn a lot about cigars while you're there. But then from that point on, you're kind of on your own, and that's just the general cigar lounge experience that I've seen, at least in the US. And I think that is why it's like so important, because I think that's what makes it different. Like, us different is we carry a lot of the same cigars everyone else around us carry. Yes, we carry some that nobody else does. But I think the reason people come to Creekside and more importantly, come back to Creekside is because they felt either seen or served and they were comfortable. And like, I love it when I see like a husband and wife on a date night, they bring a bottle of wine, decant it, pour their glasses, and they're hanging outside or they're hanging by the garage doors, and she's not smoking but he is. I'm like, that is awesome. Because like we created an environment where both people felt comfortable and wanted to be here. Maybe he wanted to be here a little more. But where she was willing to, it's not like her uncle's grungy basement cigar lounge. She's like, there's no way I'm going in there. Like, if we can continue to create that environment, to me, that's a win.
I agree. And we're going to keep winning.
We're going to keep winning. Okay.
We're going to keep winning.
Humidor.
You
earlier today, you were doing a video on like the 5 cigars that you had never smoked or really heard of before Creekside. I want to know, because you were like, so I had worked in cigars for a couple years prior to this, but not for a long time, a few years. This is your first cigar event, like business that you've been a part of. what from like a cigar standpoint, like what has either been like really, what's like been the cool thing about owning a cigar company as someone who is like just a hobbyist a year ago and now you own a cigar company?
That's a great question. Apart from getting cigars at a good price, which is a great perk.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I love walking through those doors, and I hope that this like kind of magic feeling never leaves. But every time I walk through that door and I just smell like the leather furniture, I don't smell like ashes and all kind of stuff. It just smells clean, and I just kind of like, I'm thankful, man.
Yeah.
Like more than anything, I'm thankful to be doing this with really good friends. I mean, a lot of people dream of doing that kind of stuff with good friends.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it doesn't work out.
Yep.
But I walk in, I'm like, man, we did it. Like this is, even if this thing never makes me $1, like it's awesome. Like that we have a cigar lounge in our community, and that's kind of what we dreamed of doing. And it's thriving right now.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. We have a ton of regulars that come in all the time.
That's my favorite part.
Yes.
Is like walking in.
Yeah.
And seeing like Adam back here or Larry over here and being like, what's up, guys? And like being able to sit down and like talk with them for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just feels like there's this like community being built here.
There is, and can I share one quick story?
Yeah, please.
Not to get too spiritual or anything, but I know that all three of us are believers in Jesus, and one of the things that I know me and Wick really prayed about for this was that this would be a place of community, but also a place of, life change and conversations to take place, and we've actually seen that happen, which is really cool. So there's a guy that I'm thinking of who is he came here for the first time to Creekside for the first time during March Madness.
Yep.
And he sat in the members lounge with me and Wick and a bunch of other buddies from church. And he was going through just a really hard divorce, and he just needed some community, honestly. Just needed community. And he has since kind of rededicated his life to the Lord. Has been in church every single Sunday since then. Has gotten baptized. He's like a faithful member of mine and Dave's community group, and so it's cool to know that interaction happened here in our lounge.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other things like that are happening too, that are just even some of the events that we've had, where we've literally had guys in here like sharing the gospel to a bunch of dudes smoking cigars and drinking bourbon, and it's like, that's really cool to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we should be proud of.
Yeah.
So,
and like we joke and talk about what's like the worst cigar experience you've had, but when I think about the opposite, like best cigar experiences I've had, which are like way more than the worst ones I've had, it's all around like sitting down, having a really awesome conversation that not even something like going to a coffee shop with somebody brings, because it's fast, it's quick. Like,
yeah, it's a great point.
You have to, you're committing for an hour at least. No matter how fast you can rip that thing.
Hey,
and
I can rip it.
And you can rip them.
I'm going to rip it.
He's Uncle Rippy. And, but there's something, when you meet somebody for a cigar, there's something really special that happens because you both have agreed that you have the time to do it. And it's just the act of smoke. I don't know what it is. It just like slows everything down. I've had some of the best conversations with like my really good friends over a cigar.
Yeah.
I've met incredible people over a cigar where it's not just a quick interaction, a hi, what do you do for work? How are you? Okay, see you later. Never talk to you again. But you get that 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour of intentional conversation. Like I've met people who have helped me in my faith and my career with my family, all around cigars. Like again, that's how we met, was over a cigar, really. Yeah. And there's just to create an environment where that can happen more, and that's what we see so much. These groups that come in, bring a bottle of bourbon, we bring out the glass where they sit, smoke, hang out. And they've turned it into a weekly ritual or a monthly ritual. I'm like, that is awesome. Yep. Because that's people that are coming to spend time with each other, and we're just creating an environment that makes that happen. And if we're doing our job well, serving them, keeping the lounge clean, The best part is they don't even realize we're here. They're just kind of like in their living room, hanging out with their friends.
Yeah.
Like, more of that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I agree, man. It's what it's all about. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What are the chances that we get Joe Burrow to come smoke a cigar here?
If you're listening, not you, Joe. He's probably not listening. He's definitely not listening. But for the person that's 1 degree away that's listening, get him in here. Box of cigar is yours. That's all I'm going to say. Of your choice.
I mean, you know, we not to name
Why
drop.
wouldn't he want to be in here?
But
dude, we have a members lounge. You can hide away, relax, watch
one
games film.
one of his boys has been
one
here.
Of his one of his boys comes in.
He's got to, you know, anytime. So Chase Brown came in here one night, and so now anytime he does something good on the field, everybody just yells out Creekside Brown. Yeah. You know, so we gave him that nickname, and you know, so let's see if Joe wants to come up one day.
Hey, come on in. It's kind of a complex for me to be such a diehard Steelers fan, owning a business in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
The biggest complex is like I now have like a slight fondness towards the Bengals, which I didn't grow up having.
Yeah.
It was quite the opposite.
But it's there. It's happening.
It's budding.
It's happening.
It will never take over, but it's, you know, I can palate it now.
Okay.
I cheered for them in the Super Bowl a few years ago. That was big moves for me. Last question.
Okay.
Cigar related.
Okay.
What's your number one cigar of the year?
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Like one cigar that
we really didn't script this out because I was not expecting that question. Oh, like the number one. I'm just
like
gonna walk
the one
in
you're
there.
just like, man, just give me a box. I need to always have this on me.
Do you have one? I'm gonna ask you, but do you have one?
This year I do.
Okay, I think I know what it is.
Yep.
And that one's really good.
Decimo.
Yeah.
Yep. Crown Heads.
Yeah.
Decimo.
Yeah, I have. Once I found out that we are getting all that we're gonna get, and that they're in limited quantities,
we had more limited quantities after that moment.
I have a couple boxes of those at home in the humidor. So, oh man, number one cigar, dude. Gosh, that's so okay. Oh no, I know it.
Oh,
thank you,
Sound
Holy
the alarm.
Spirit. Thank you, Lord.
Sound the alarm.
Thank you, Lord. It is, and I feel weird saying this because it's not a boutique brand.
Okay, that's fine.
But it's the Padron 90.
Oh yes, that is your favorite.
That's my favorite.
Yes,
it's a little
Cristo.
It's a little chunk meister.
Yeah, like 5x60 or something.
Yeah, and it just it is perfect construction.
The Maduro one, right?
Perfect draw. I'll smoke it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but yeah, in general I like Maduro. Yeah.
And they come in those nice little boxes. You can almost fit them in your pocket.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I have.
Yeah,
I have. No, that is my number one cigar. Boutique wise, I love the. Is it the Night Flight?
Yes.
The Principal.
Yes, Principal Night
And
Flight.
the guys told me, are we really one of the only Principal dealers in Ohio?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't know if we're the only one, but definitely in our area. Like, within probably an hour.
Yeah. I mean, that cigar is, we didn't get a lot of them this year, but man, anytime I could get my hands on it, I wanted
Every
to smoke
time we
it.
do an order, I put 10 boxes of that in, and we get one.
Yeah.
And Darren's like, I don't give these to anybody. I'm like, oh, so you're telling me I should be grateful for the one? He's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
it's so good.
it just leaves me wanting more.
Yeah. Are we going to get a T-shirt made with "It's Good" on it?
Yeah, if you start doing more, it's good reviews.
Okay. I mean, I think people like that.
I
or
think
maybe
there's
it's just
a fan
me.
base. No.
Maybe it's just me.
No, dude, I think they're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think more it's good reviews, and we'll do the T-shirt.
Okay.
If you'll come on more podcasts when we interview some of these brand owners, and
yeah. Definitely, I'm definitely here for the long
I can
haul.
already foresee the comments on this. People are going to be begging for the Krispy Kreme hat guy to come back in. They want more of your intel.
Yeah.
They like your vibe.
Yeah, and I'm here to give people what they want. You know,
that's what we love.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to be continued. ... Thanks for hanging out with us. A little bit behind the scenes on Creekside and why we care about service and hospitality. Until next time, he's Brandon. I'm Dave. Talk to you soon.
See you soon.
Peace.